This is the levels here. I mentioned how we would draw above for the buy side here and draw into this old weekly imbalance. This is what we saw today. We did get the buy side above the high here, and we did trade inside this volume imbalance. All right, and here is the daily chart I showed yesterday, and now here's what we're going to see today. There's the delivery to the buy side I told you we would see, and we drew into that weekly volume imbalance. So let's take a closer look at what we saw this week. So here's the price action as I mentioned last night. Only thing I did take off the gradients in here, and these little arrows, don't be fooled by that. Okay, all I'm showing you is the key turning points. So this fair value gap here, I said we would draw up into that, and then the buy side and the weekly volume imbalance, which is that shaded white area up here. We were trading in this little area here. I said we would likely draw down into this buy side imbalance, then go higher. We did that very thing here. If it drops just inside of that imbalance and we're expecting a shallow drop, that run is going to be initialized by a institutional order flow entry drill. It's a partial entry to a fair value gap, whether it be a buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, or a sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. So either or, and since we have an up close candle here, that makes this a BISI, buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. It's going to go down into this area here and keep some of that open. So we did that very thing here. We dropped down into that candle's low just a little bit and then rallied up, created another buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency with this candle here. This candle's high, that candle's low, frames this as a buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. We also have a breaker here. So the market trades down into that. Also, consequent encroachment of this gap. This is a daily fair value gap. This was the daily discount fair value gap. So once it hits that, then it's permitted to leave that range. Once it trades above this high, this becomes a balanced price range. So we can trust that it's going to go higher. Higher where? To the buy side here, and then dig into that weekly volume imbalance, which is what we see it did here. Dropping down into a 15-minute candlestick chart, you can see that we had that institutional order flow entry drill. It drops down here during the morning session. This is a Judas swing. It rallies up. What is a Judas swing? It's a fake move. Okay, so it rallies up, creates a 3-drive pattern, and then the market went down, dropped into a fair value gap here, and then rallied up. And let's take a closer look at that. So we have the 3 drives pattern here, 1, 2, 3. Institutional order flow entry drill down here. After taking sell side out, it rallies. Then we have the short-term reversal pattern here. This is a classic price action pattern. It's really good to indicate that we're likely to see some measure of retracement. It can be an all-out reversal, but because we have unfinished business, which is that weekly imbalance up here, that weekly volume imbalance specifically, NASDAQ has done outstandingly on the upside. As I mentioned, I've been coaching you along with NASDAQ being the leader of the upside, and it would draw ES up higher in sympathy. So this is a 6 sister concept. I'm trading the pair that has lagged. We have a breaker here, so we have high, low, higher, high. Extend that through. That's this little retracement here. It broke down just to clear out the sell side here. So here we have a closer look on the 1-minute chart. Imbalance refined into that fair value gap here. It drops down in, clearing up relative equal lows here. Before we get to that, let's look at the 3 drives pattern. We have consequent encroachment of this imbalance, runs above this short-term high. The market broke down. We had the breaker here. Really nice run to that breaker and fair value gap right there. That right there, this folks, right here, this thing right here, that is a complete model. We have a higher structured breaker. Once this low is broken, it is here. We have an imbalance. That little imbalance right there, that fair value gap that's not highlighted, it's trading up into that and then hitting the breaker. This is also an optimal trade entry. It's also trading into a bearish order block, which is a closed candle prior to this movement lower. And then look at the delivery here. Boom, speed right down into that old imbalance. Then it creates a consolidation. Is that surprising? No. What time of the day is it? It's New York lunch. So what is it doing? It's creating relative equal lows, and then it rallies. What is that going to entice traders to think? That's support. So any long holders, they're going to chase that. They're going to run it up into the breaker one more time, which is mean threshold, middle of this down close candle right here, the big beefy, longer bodied candle. Midpoint of that, and then shifts it lower, attacks the sell side, which is the classic run on New York lunch. It's a stop hunt. That's the macro for the lunch hour. What basis is it? It's the New York lunch hour. Look at time, 2:15, 1 o'clock. So in that 1 hour period between noon and 1 p.m. New York local time, we have now classic enticement for retail traders to see that as support. So that level right there is going to have a lot of sell side liquidity. And the market runs from the breaker down into that, hits it, and trades into the imbalance right here, which is institutional order flow entry drill as well. And this is also a fair value gap. This nice little retracement into that, and then delivers harshly right into that fair value gap. Moving into the afternoon, we can see that turn here. We rally up, consolidate, and then starts to rip higher, attacking what? The buy side here, then the old buy side liquidity pool, and then the weekly volume imbalance. So it's very quick run inside of the PM session, which is 2 o'clock to 4 p.m. New York local time. This is your PM session silver bullet. You get 2 chances here. 1, 2 rallies, and then the final market on close macro, which is the last, it's 3:15 to 3:45. In that window, you'll get another opportunity to set up a run for liquidity that has not been managed or engaged for that particular day, where the market fills the numbers and it runs up, hits the buy side, hits the weekly volume imbalance as well, and just beautiful delivery. All right, you can see again, here's that silver bullet. One more little extra opportunity that's post 3 o'clock, but still using that setup here. So it's being reclaimed at fair value gap right there, and it rallies up, trades back down in. Look real close. You see this inefficiency here in that candle's high? How price runs through this shaded area. All of this area here gets repriced to. See that? That candle's low. Trade up into it here, a little bit higher, and then trades back down. It stops right there. Why is it stopping right there? Well, it only needs to go down to this fair value gap right there. And we already traded up. Once this candle went down, the next candle opened, traded up here. So this to this is only inefficient. So it needs to only go to that level. Then it can rally. This is the power 3. This is what the daily candlestick looked like from 9:30 open, small little movement lower, rallied up, creating the high of the day, and then closing here. So we have another classic buy day. Open, decline, Judas swing, rallies up, closes on the high, working that fair value gap. The 9:30 open was essentially near the low of that shaded fair value gap. Here is the opening range gap. I talked about how you can take this imbalance and multiply that out and project it up, much like I taught with my central bank dealers range, and much like I taught with flout, and how I amplified what everybody that was aware of the Asian range for a long time. I supercharged that and taught you how to use it and make it better. But you can do that opening range gap the same way, and you can do projections higher, and then we have an overlap of -11 standard deviations. Market on close macro. The algorithm generally will run for liquidity. Now, if the liquidity has been tapped, that means a higher time frame liquidity pool or target's been met, then it usually won't spool and start running. There's no need for it to do anything. Then if it's done that, the last 15 minutes of trading between 3:45 and 4 o'clock, you'll get some kind of little sputter move, which is, maybe it's good for 5 or 8, maybe 10 handles, maybe, but not terribly explosive. So this is what we have here today. Relative equal lows. Retail sees that as what? That's classic support to them, right? They take it down to take those stops. Why would those sell stops be advantageous to be liquidated? Because smart money will buy those sell stops. They'll be the counterparty to that sell stop being activated. They're buying that. So they're going long there, where longs have placed orders to go long here based on this pseudo support. No. Price allows smart money to be the counterparty to those sell stops being engaged. So when those sell stops get tripped, there's a flood, a rush of selling orders in the marketplace, which is beautiful for smart money to accumulate that and be buying at a cheaper, low price. Then it rallies and it attacks what? The buy stops above here. Who would have buy stops above that? The people that were momentarily lucky, didn't take profits. Their stops is resting right above here in the form of a buy stop. Why would it be advantageous to trade there or above this level here or up into this weekly volume imbalance? Because smart money will look to distribute their longs there. So offset distribution occurs with smart money buying the sell stops, selling some above this high, selling some above here, and above here. And they liquidate that. And that liquidation of their longs above here, they're selling above here, which gives what? The retail traders the liquidity to be a buyer of when they're chasing price. When it breaks out here, who wants to buy that? Breakout artists. And the smart money selling their portion that they went long down here to there, which is why I'm teaching and teach my students to sell long positions partially above old highs and to cover short positions below old lows.